Hey, this is Maximo, and I've just come back from Singapore, and these are without doubt the 10 best attractions to see for the mature and discerning traveller. These attractions have been carefully curated for their location, ease of access and ease of walking around them, the appropriateness of the cost, the alignment of a cultural experience, and importantly, there's no shops. Shops and malls are money-wasting pits, not attractions. There's more details, maps, costs in the original videos that you can access via the Singapore video playlist. The first 3 attractions are located in the Marina Bay area. They're all very close together and easily done within the course of one day. The first attractions is the Supertree Grove in Gardens by the Bay. The super trees are free to wander around. There are some paid attractions that we'll get to, but it's a very special and unique attraction, unlike anywhere else that I've seen in the rest of the world. I'm in the main Supertree that has an observatory on the top, and it's a spectacular elevator ride with a stunning video display on its ceiling. You emerge from the elevator into a 360-degree lower level viewing platform that offers stunning views of the surrounding area: Marina Bay Sands, Singapore Harbour, the Gardens by the Bay Flower Dome, and surrounding CBD area of Singapore. You also get a great view of the walking platform that I'll be walking on and covering a little bit later. Inside the viewing platform, there's a spectacular and spooky Armageddon type visual audio exhibition. It was a little bit frightening, but really well done. If you walk up a couple of flights of stairs, you get to the top level of the main Supertree Observatory. This offers even better views of the surrounding areas because the Supertree branches aren't in the way. You need to note that this area isn't open in bad weather because it is quite exposed and open to the elements. I finished up at the observatory and made my way to the skywalk. The skywalk is suspended about 50 or 60 meters in the air. It's a little bit rickety and quite high, not for the faint-hearted if you have issues with heights, but it offers spectacular views of the surrounding area and an opportunity to get really close to the super trees and just check out all the different foliage that is grown and lives on those super trees. It's a stunning place. I don't think there's anywhere in the world quite like this. This really shouldn't be missed. If you're able to do it, come back at night and check out the Gardens by the Bay Supertree light and music show. Again, it's just another spectacular event. I'll show you some snippets, and if you want, you can look at the main video on the Singapore playlist. Our second world-class, unique and not to be missed attraction is the Cloud Forest. This is actually right next door to the Flower Dome, but I found the architecture and just the stunning area of the Cloud Forest to be far better than the Flower Dome. If you're into flowers and you have time, I would do both, but if you are limited in time, I would certainly do the Cloud Forest as the priority of the 2 attractions. The Cloud Forest features a stunning 70-metre high indoor waterfall, a really high dome, and many high suspended walkways that you can just wander around through. If you've got an issue with heights, you might need to reconsider some of the places that you visit, certainly the high walkways. There were a number of different attractions within this. When we went, there was an avatar exhibition, and this was an interactive exhibition that you could walk around and make like you're a dinosaur bird and flap your wings. It was really quite funny to watch. You basically start at the very top and just wind your way down the different walkways, looking at all the different plants and foliage. In the lower reaches of the cloud forest, there is the Teen Labs art, light and music art installation. This is very similar to the Team Labs installation at the Science Art Museum. This will give you a taste of what that's like if you haven't got time to see the art museum. And this may satisfy your curiosity as to what that is like. We finished up at the Cloud Forest and made our way to the other side of the Gardens by the Bay complex to the Marina Bay Sands Hotel, and specifically the Spargo bar. The shops complex is a huge, architecturally spectacular mall that sits between Marina Bay and Marina Bay Sands Hotel. It is a huge, open, tall area full of many high-end shops, which we didn't frequent, as well as a food court, and there's even an indoor sampan ride that you can ride through that's about 400 or 500 metres long. Adjacent to the shops is the Marina Bay Sands Hotel complex, visually stunning architecturally, both inside and out. It's really great just wandering around the ground floor. Many high-end shops. There's even a casino for those that liked a little flutter on the pokies or the gambling tables. At the high end of the discerning and cost scale is Spargo Bar. This is on the 51st floor of the Marina Bay Sands complex. If you're not staying there, it's a fabulous spot to be able to get great views of Singapore and also have a view of the very high and somewhat terrifying infinity pool overlooking the city. The restaurant is absolutely fantastic. There's really great cocktails, and if you time it right, you can go there for dinner and some cocktails and catch a fabulous sunset. Make sure you do book in advance to avoid missing any disappointments. We booked a 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. session that enabled us to wander around Gardens by the Bay and Flower Dome Bay complex, and then Supertree complex for during the day, drinks, followed by a really nice bit of a rest in the afternoon. Wandering up to the Spargo bar for fabulous music show, food and cocktails after spectacular service. Caught the sunset, and that enabled us then to catch the light and music show that happens nightly at 7:45 and 8:45. It's a spectacular place to be, excellent for the mature and discerning, good for people watching. It's really great just to see the barman work their magic behind the bar. Arguably, this was the best attraction and the best time that we had in Singapore. I would highly recommend the Marina Bay Sands complex and especially the Spargo bar. It's not to be missed. Check my Singapore playlist for further details of this marvellous attraction. The next attraction well worth seeing is the National Orchid Garden, which is located in Singapore's Botanic Garden. It's an absolutely fantastic spot to come if you're into orchids, and after all, who isn't into nice flowers? Utterly fantastic place to come. Be prepared for a bit of walking. It's quite easily accessible via the MRT, but it's a little bit of a walk from the MRT station into the Botanic Gardens, and then about 1 kilometre or so from the edge of the Botanic Gardens into the National Orchid Garden. Along the way you'll see lovely plants, a couple of ducks, and some really nice water features. Entry to the Botanic Gardens are free, and it costs $5 adult or $1 for a senior for entry into the Orchid Garden. Well, today folks, I'm standing outside of Singapore's National Orchid Garden. The Orchid garden covers around about 760 square metres, and in the garden you'll find thousands and thousands of different varieties of orchids. You can wander around the extensive paths outside and visit a couple of buildings. There's a couple of historic old buildings on the site, and there's a couple of really nice modern architecturally designed houses that have thousands and thousands of different varieties of orchids. There's a hot room and also a cold room to suit the ideal climate that each of the different varieties require to thrive. Singapore Botanic Garden covers around about 82 acres, so it's quite a huge area. The gardens was founded in 1822, so it's around about 170 years old, and it's one of only 3 gardens in the world to be awarded a UNESCO World Heritage listing. It's the only tropical gardens to be such honoured. Truly spectacular. It's well worth spending 2 or 3 hours here. We did it relatively early in the morning just to try and escape some of the heat. We spent a couple of hours wandering around these gardens and finished up at the nearby Orchid Road for some lunch. Our 5th attraction is Singapore's famous zoo. This is located about 1 hour via public transport from the central business district, and it's to the north of the city. Here I am, another hot day in the middle of Singapore Zoo. This zoo is enormous. I'm enjoying just walking around, looking at all the different animals, and interesting ride on that on the little electric train to get around. Anyway, I'll show you some of the sights and sounds and animals and butterflies that you can find at Singapore Zoo. It takes about an hour to get to from Singapore's central business district, and it's via about 18 odd stations on the MRT and plus a 20 odd minute bus ride. It was particularly packed on the bus and also the zoo the day that we went because it happened to be a public holiday, so it's something to watch out for. We decided to orientate ourselves by jumping on the electric train and just having a wandering around the zoo. We then decided to get off at the furthest station away from the exit and just made our way through all the different animal exhibits. At 29 hectares or 69 acres, the zoo is very extensive. Expect to do a fair bit of walking in the heat, and don't forget to hydrate. We didn't see all the animal exhibitions, but we saw all the ones that appealed to us. Amongst those were the butterflies, the lemurs, the fruit bats, many different species of birds, reptiles, and even fish. The highlight of the zoo for me, I think, was the primates and monkeys. There were quite a few species, and it was just really enjoyable just to see them wandering around, having a bit of fun, and especially the young ones, they were particularly cute. We spent over 3 hours wandering around the zoo and finished off with the tigers. We then hopped on the bus and made our way to the Birds of Paradise exhibition. Unfortunately for us, it was closed after having undergone major renovation. By the time you'll be seeing this, it'll be reopened, and I would say go and have a look. It looks brilliant and spectacular from what we saw online. Number 6 on our list is Little India. Little India isn't too far from Singapore CBD and also close to Chinatown. It's an easy access via the MRT, and it's just a fantastic area to wander around, looking at all the different stalls, markets, selling all sorts of things, flowers, fruit, carpets, you name it, they're selling it. Very, very rich cultural history for this area. It was marvellous just wandering the streets and just getting lost in the area that was Little India. After an hour or so of wandering around Little India, we made our way to the Tekka market. The ground floor of the market is basically a food market, otherwise known as a wet market. Here you can find fish and meat and poultry, as well as fresh vegetables and other foods. I haven't been to a wet market for quite a while, and it was a feast of the senses. Mainly the smell, especially the fish area, but also the hustle and bustle and just the sort of general busy vibe of the place. Upstairs is quite a big food court, and I would say have a look downstairs first, and if you're hungry, head upstairs for lunch. There's many really great stalls that you can choose to have a great lunch from. We finished up at the Tekka market and headed outside and had a further wander through the stalls of the market area. Not soon afterwards, the foreboding skies gave way to a torrential downpour. We were lucky to just make it under cover and had to wait it out an hour or so in the very hairy tropical torrential rain until the shower and storm passed. What a fantastic attraction that is Little India. Our seventh attraction is Arab Street and the Bugis Junction area. This is a predominantly Arab or Muslim area full of rich culture of the local traders. It's also great just having a wandering around through the streets, looking at all the different stalls. There's flowers, materials, carpets, all sorts of things on offer, as well as quite a number of really nice food areas and the famous Sultan Mosque. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get into the mosque as it was Ramadan and the mosque was only open to worshippers. There's so many food, restaurants, cafes, and other establishments in this area. We went quite early in the day to avoid the heat. Quite a lot of the restaurants weren't open when we attended, and unfortunately we never did get the opportunity to come back and sample the food here. If I was to do it again, I'd make a beehive there at night to sample some of the nightlife and some of the restaurants at night. I think it'd be quite a vibrant area. The Arab Street area is also famous for its multicoloured buildings. It's sort of taking street art to a whole different level. It was very nicely done, quite tasteful, certainly not graffiti-esque in any sense. Another fantastic attraction to visit. The next attraction is Chinatown. This is relatively quite close to Arab Street and can quite easily be combined on the one day or the one trip. Chinatown is quite a big area. It has many stalls and shops, and the Buddha Tooth Relic temple that you see. The temple is quite large and quite spectacular. You think it had been built hundreds of years ago, but in fact it's a recent addition, only opened in 2007. Entry to the temple on the ground floor is free, and the upper areas are a museum, and that costs to visit that museum. I gave it a miss as I was all cultured out. Across the square from the temple is the Chinatown complex. This is a huge shopping mall Downstairs there's many shops, clothes, all sorts of things, and upstairs there's a humongous food court, a hawker style food court. I had a fantastic chicken rice here and spoke to the owner that said he's been making chicken rice for the best part of 60 years. Utterly brilliant, and a fantastic place to really be immersed in the culture of Singapore, especially the quite heavy influence that the Chinese have given to Singapore over the years. There's quite a few other temples to see and many different shops to go into as well. I would highly recommend Chinatown. It's really one of the must-see attractions on any trip to Singapore. It was a scorching hot day and we made our way through the rest of Chinatown and made our way to the subway for a retreat to the coolness of our hotel. My next attraction is Sentosa Island and the spectacular cable car ride to get out there. I primarily went to Sentosa Island to go to Siloso Point and to see Fort Siloso, but the island is huge and there's many different attractions to see, and you could probably spend days there and also stay there on one of the many hotels on the island. Sentosa Island features Universal Studios, bungee jumping, a huge and scary zip line, an aquarium, a water park. There's so much to see and do there, and it caters for almost everybody. Hey, it's Maximo, and today I'm standing on the top of Faber Peak. Faber Peak is only a couple hundred metres above sea level, and the views aren't that much to write home about, but the journey there via the spectacular and scary cable car really does take your breath away. This is a not to be missed attraction in Singapore. I did do quite an extensive video on this cable car ride and my trip to Sentosa Island. So if you want more details about the cost and some of the peculiarities around this, please do hit the playlist for that video. I've got to say that, you know, it offers spectacular views of the city of Singapore, the harbour side, and the whole of Sentosa Island. This is an attraction that really shouldn't be missed if you're in Singapore and have the time to go out there and see it. So here I am in Sentosa Island, Siloso Point, trying to avoid all the tourists with their Instagram moments. It's baking hot. I'll try and keep in the shade today and just have a look around. Let's go. I had a walk around Siloso Point and there was a really stunning beach. It was really nice, although hot, just walking around, and the water did look inviting. It's a pity I didn't have my swimming trunks on. There's quite a long bridge to a little sand island that offers a really nice view of Singapore Harbour with all the ships. Once I'd finished there, I made my way to Fort Siloso. Fort Siloso was basically a World War II fort, and it's really easily accessed by a skywalk with an elevator. The skywalk also offers marvellous views of Singapore City. Entry to both the fort and the skywalk are free, and in terms of the skywalk, it was yet another quite hairy, high attraction to view. So if you have an issue with heights, I would seriously have a good long think about the itinerary for Sentosa Island. There's many other ways to get there, including the MRT system. And in terms of the skywalk, well, you could probably go the long way around to get to the fort. What's in the fort, it's really well done. The fort is essentially intact, and it dates back, as I said, pre-World War II. There's really nice sights and sounds, and you get an appreciation of what it was like to be in the fort during the Second World War. very, very well done, this attraction. I spent a couple of hours here just looking at all the different tunnels, gun emplacements, and recreations of the scene of World War II. I've just come through the tunnel complex, and we're at a gun emplacement. This place is really great. It's free entry, and it's really well done with the sights and sounds of World War II and the battle for Singapore. Sentosa Island is a unforgettable and fantastic location. It's actually more than one attraction. You've got the cable car getting there. You've got beaches, bungee jumping and zip lines for the adventurous. Beaches, and finally Fort Siloso for the history and World War II buffs. It's really got everything for everyone. Go there. Our 10th and last attraction is the Jewel. The Jewel is located adjacent to Terminal 1 at Singapore's Changi Airport. I mean, who other than the Singaporeans would think of putting a world-class attraction in an airport? I would say the best time to visit this is on your way home from Singapore, and aim to get to the airport 4 or 5 hours before your scheduled departure. You can drop any hand luggage in the baggage storage and actually check in early in the early check-in lounge at the Jewel. Behind me is the famous Vortex. So we're going to get a bite to eat, and then we're going to wander around the Jewel at Changi Airport. So the Jewel is adjacent to Terminal 1 at Changi Airport. It's basically a huge shopping centre with a number of spectacular attractions, foremost of which is the Rain Vortex. It's actually free to wander around the Jewel. Only some of the attractions on the higher levels are actually paid. You can wander around the very many shops and cafes, have a great bite to eat, and get really close to the Rain Vortex. There's quite extensive gardens around the bottom of the complex, and there's, I guess, a whole wall of gardens, hanging gardens, that make it a truly unique and architecturally stunning attraction to see. On the 5th level is where you'll find all the paid attractions, plus a number of quite elegant and slightly more exclusive bars and cafes where you can also get something to eat. And going up to level 5 offers really stunning views of the whole complex. It gives you a scale of the Jewel. There's even a train line running through the middle of it. The Canopy is a paid attraction, and basically it's a meandering walking path that is surrounded by trees and plants, as well as weird, colourful animals. I have published a much longer and more detailed video of the Jewel, so please hit my playlist and select the Jewel, and you'll get a lot more details about where it is, the cost, and all the different attractions that you can see there. If you're adventurous, there's even a canopy net walk. What you can't really appreciate is that the drop below those people is around about 100 metres, and if you've got an issue with heights or aren't into sort of mature and discerning activities, give this one a miss. The canopy walk was quite noisy, but also strangely relaxing. It was actually really good fun just walking around the outside of the architectural complex and just admiring all the different flowers and trees. What better way to soothe the nerves before your long distance flight back home. So here I am standing on the Canopy Bridge in the Jewel, and that's the big Vortex waterfall behind me. But this isn't exactly relaxing. I'm standing on a glass floor. I can see probably about 50 metres below me. And with that, I made my way to the lounge and waited for our flight. I do hope you've liked this video. Please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and hit that bell to be notified of our future travels. I can share with you folks that I have a trip to Sydney planned for later in the year, and I'm looking forward to our major holiday for the year, which will be a surprise destination. So we're going away in a few weeks' time, and it'll be a 3.5 week extensive holiday. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you have a great day. Take care. Until the next time, bye.